Thank you, Andy, and good morning, everyone. It's great to be here, and thanks for having me here. So I'm Valentino Volonghi, and I'm CTO at AdRoll, and I'm here to talk to you about how AdRoll uses the whole enchilada of products that Amazon Web Services provides us. So let's first start to talk about what AdRoll does. And AdRoll is a marketing platform, and what that means is that we allow businesses of all sizes, big or small, or all experiences, very experienced or instead very, very newbies, to run high-performing marketing initiatives across the world, no matter what their scale is. And we have been very successful at doing this over the years. We've grown to over 20,000 customers over 150 countries. And this is the biggest that any marketing platform has been over the years. Of course, our biggest product and most well-selling product has been retargeting. The concept of it is very simple. Effectively, when a customer leaves your site without buying your products, we enable you to reach these customers with the most appropriate message at the right time when they're browsing a different site or they're using their mobile devices. And this is great because it's intuitive, it works, it performs like search, and customers continue to want to come back for more because they need it to grow their businesses. But of course, the simplicity stops here. The reality is that underneath the surface, this technology, which is called real-time bidding, is actually very, very complicated. And the moment you start operating in it, you immediately realize that you're latency bound. Real-time bidding effectively means that everything we do is intended to be real-time in the strict sense of the word. The platform is operating at over 60 billion impressions per day, and every one of these impressions needs to be responded to within 100 milliseconds or less, no matter where you are in the world. And this is fairly complicated because physics gets in the way in reality. The unfortunate thing is that light in vacuum moves at light in fiber moves at 120,000 miles per second. And with a little bit of math, you'll figure out that a ray of light round-tripping between New York and Paris will take about 60 milliseconds or more to travel between the two. And unfortunately, we only have 100 milliseconds to bid. And this means that the majority of our time will be lost in network latency. And that's just too much. If 1% of the 60 billion requests per day that we receive goes unanswered, that's about 600 million requests that we didn't respond to. That's a lot of errors, a lot of opportunity cost that we just cannot afford to lose on. And this is where Amazon actually helped us the first. When we were a small startup, in order to run RTB, you immediately realize that you need to have global presence from day one. And when you're a startup, you have a choice in front of you. You can either decide to spend all of your hard-earned capital, and you don't have a lot of that lying around when you are a startup, and you can go around the world in all the places where latency allows you to reach that traffic very quickly and create contracts, data centers, hire engineers, operations, start to call suppliers and get bandwidth contracts, and you can spend all of your time doing this. Or instead, you can do what has allowed us to become successful today and instead spend all of our time and capital in investing on products and innovation. Our engineers did not spend a single minute trying to figure out how to rack all of the machines that we were needing to get to run our business, and instead they spend the time working on our product. But of course, just having instances around the world is not enough. You actually need to have a lot of data in order to run advertising. And data needs to be accessible really, really quickly around the world. And so naturally, when we started our adventure, we had a very simple requirement to a degree. We needed to have a globally scaled database that could answer over 1 million requests per second, and that was not touched by how much data we were storing in it or how often we were querying it or the time of day or whatnot. And so we did our research, and we ended up settling on DynamoDB. And we needed, at the beginning, we didn't need so much from our database. But over the course of time and our growth, we actually started to use this database more and more. And today, we actually are using this system at more than 1 million requests per second. Every one of these requests comes back in 5 milliseconds or less, and we're storing 500 billion objects inside our DynamoDB installation. And we haven't spent a single engineer to operate this system. It's actually technically fun to a degree if that's what you're into, to operate a database at this massive scale. But when you're running a business in which 1% of failures means probably losing $1 million, this is not really the place where you want to play. This is undifferentiated. Our customers don't care. They care that we provide value. But of course, just this data distributed around the world is not going to be enough. What you want to be able to do is that all of your teams need to have the ability to access this data. It's very important to me that the engineers that work at AdRoll have the ability to access the continuously growing data volume that we're generating month after month. In the last month alone, we have generated and stored in S3 more data than we generated in the first 4 months of 2014. And this is compressed data, and the downtick that you see is just because we optimized 3 fields of our log systems to save 20% of log space every single month. But just the volume of data sitting at rest is a bit useless. And the part that makes S3 not so simple but so incredible is that we generate over 10 billion requests per month on our S3 buckets to operate on the data and run our machine learning algorithms so that we can run high-performing campaigns. And of course, when you store that much data in S3, it's not all in a single file. We actually every day upload 17 million, every month we upload 17 million files to S3. And we like to play around not just with established services, but also with new up-and-coming and interesting technologies, and this is where Lambda comes in. As soon as it came out, a couple of our engineers decided to write in about a week a quick prototype of a routing system that would allow our data infrastructure to receive a very timely notification of when any new file were going to be added to S3 so that the teams downstream could get access to the files as soon as they needed to without adding in unnecessary latency to the infrastructure. Today, we can generate all those 300 plus terabytes, 300,000 gigabytes of data in each month and have this data flow through this stream in less than a minute. And this is incredible when you're running a real-time business, of course. So wrapping this up, I want to really mention that I wouldn't be here talking with you guys today if it wasn't for the ability that Amazon Web Services gave us to focus on the product early on in the life of the startup instead of spending time trying to figure out how to make our infrastructure scale quickly or get contracts all around the world or trying to understand how we could possibly build all of the different pieces of infrastructure that are necessary to run a business like ours that ultimately our customers don't see but that are so fundamental for us to run at scale. Thank you.